Over the past 10 years, I've become known as the thru hiker Darwin, or to some, simply the YouTube backpacking guy. And because of the beard. But aside from hiking thousands of miles around the country and around the world, I've also fallen in love with and dabbled in other outdoor adventure activities like bikepacking, climbing, and most recently, high-altitude mountaineering. But something I've always wanted to get into was pack rafting. To getting into more bikepacking content, I have a pack rafting trip planned for May. With dreams of one day doing a traverse of the Brooks Range in Alaska, pack rafting has always been an inevitable next step in my outdoor adventuring career. So it goes without saying that I was absolutely jacked to be invited on a trip in October 2024 up to Colorado to learn more about pack rafting, get out for a couple days on the Gunnison River, and test out some new 2025 pack raft models made by a company called Alpaca Rafts. But before getting out on the water for 2 days, I decided to head up to Mancos, Colorado to visit the alpaca factory and see the mad science of how exactly one of these boats is made.
Spot.
Hi, how's it going? How's it going, man?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, Nick.
Thor.
Nice to meet you too, bud.
This is Phoebe.
Phoebe, hi.
Bit of a compound. You guys are across the
This
street over
is
here.
Thor Tingey, co-owner of Alpaca Raft. Not only does he own and operate one of the largest companies in the pack rafting industry, he basically helped invent the sport. When Thor was 22 years old, he, along with 4 buddies, took off on a 170-mile traverse of the Alaskan range by foot and by a boat? They carried cheap inflatable rafts, no PFDs, and no dry suits. After a successful yet cold and miserable trip, Thor asked his mother, Sherry, a seasoned professional sewer and ski clothing designer, to help him make a more robust and backcountry-worthy raft that was packable enough for future adventures in the Brooks Range. Thus, Alpaca Raft and modern pack rafting as we know it today was born.
Here we go.
Like all the dogs everywhere.
Yeah, super dog friendly place. We're going to find dogs at every step of the process.
Nice, excellent.
For sure.
My type of company.
Here's where everything starts. This is our main factory, and it all starts with cutting. We have this automated cutting machine.
Thing looks intense.
Yes, it is. It's got a conveyor table so it can pull fabric off the roll continuously and set everything up for the cuts. We run a cut to order system. So with the exception of a few boats, we don't make a boat until you order it. It allows us to offer way more options. So I think we have close to 200 plus a full custom set of options. So we take all the orders from the week, plug them into our software, and the software nests them all together so that all the blue fabric is cut, and then all the green fabric, and then all the yellow fabric, and all the red cut fabric.
Nice.
Yep, and if we look up here, we've got, these are our 3 basic boat shapes, and so every panel itself has a label. It's got a panel ID itself, and then the model ID is also on there.
Okay.
So anywhere in the factory, we can find a random panel, and we know exactly what boat that's supposed to go to.
What order it goes to.
The other thing we do down in the cutting room is we take a lot of the scrap that comes off of our cutting table and we turn it into the parts that get welded onto the boat. So your grab loops and D-rings and all of our baffles that go into our seats. And then we have a laser cutter, clicker press, or hydraulic press with different tooling dies. Sure. And we punch all of that stuff. Punch them out, yeah. Nice. So that helps us kind of further recycle and reuse waste.
All right, cool. Hey folks, I wanted to cut in here real quick and let you know that this video is brought to you by the fine folks at Onyx Backcountry. Not only has Onyx become a huge supporter of my channel, enabling me to get out on trips like this and make some of these new types of videos, but Onyx is also the app that I use in the backcountry to support me on all of my adventures, like this pack rafting trip of the Gunnison River. Lately, I've been really obsessed with the desktop version of Onyx because it's become this crazy powerful tool that I'm able to use before I get out on the trail to plan a lot of my big adventures like my recent pack rafting trips in the Grand Canyon. Whether I'm putting together my days on the trail or on the river, I'm able to use features like the 3D mapping to really look at the elevation profiles of what I might be expecting or even some big obstacles that I might have to face in order to keep myself safe and more confident when I get out on the trail. Then once I'm done putting all of my trip together, I can save an offline map, put it on my account, and then open it up on my cell phone out on the trail. So if you've ever wanted to help support my channel and the videos that I make, or you just simply want to step up your own backcountry navigation game, check out my link down in the description box to get a free 7-day trial of Onyx Backcountry to use for yourself and 20% off of a yearly subscription. I cannot thank Onyx enough for supporting me and my channel and all of these new videos that I'm able to make. Speaking of that, let's get back to it.
It's like a labyrinth.
Yep. Mostly it goes one direction, but there's a few back steps. Okay, here we are, main factory.
Excellent.
So this is our main factory floor, but the next step in the boat making process is actually RF or HF welding.
Okay.
So this is a process where we use electricity to seal attachments onto the boat itself.
Is it also known as like laser welding? Is that what
No,
people
there's
call
a different
it?
thing
Is that
for
a
laser.
different thing? Okay.
No, this is actual radio frequency. It was invented, I think, in the 40s or 50s.
Okay. So when it comes down and it presses, it's using electricity to weld it together?
Exactly. I am not an engineer.
Okay.
But this is what I've been told. Polyurethane and PVC have polarity in the compound of the material.
Sure.
And just like in a microwave actually uses electricity to excite water molecules, cause them to heat.
Sure.
It's the same process here. We're using electricity, but it's not a microwave. It's high frequency radiation down through a tool, causes the polarity in the TPU materials to excite, and it causes them to internally heat up and bond together to weld.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scientific.
Yeah, so you need tooling to concentrate the weld in a specific shape.
In there now, right?
Exactly.
Like a little die. Yeah. So it looks like he's putting on
grab loops right now.
Okay.
Here's our marks.
Oh yeah.
So that says this is a grab loop.
That was done by the machine.
It also tells us the alignment of the grab loop.
Okay.
So he aligns it, gets that centered, lines it over there, brings that down, pulls his hand back, and then this meter tells us how much HF is being put through that thing.
Man, out of all the other like gear companies I've been to and even having my own shop, like this is probably the most like mad scientist gear making I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Heading up here to sorting. So we've drug all the boats that we've RF welded, all the little pieces on, and now we have this kind of big L-shaped sorting table right here.
All right.
And every boat at this point gets a tag, and so we're printing these off, and so these tell us what the boat is, they tell who the customer is. Dustin will go through the whole pile here and start grabbing individual pieces like we looked at downstairs, like he needs an A, B, an I, a G, a D, all those pieces, and he puts them together, and they actually don't just grab them all and dump them. They grab them and then roll them up in a package that is ready for the next step, which is sewing. Okay, we've got our boats from sorting, and the next stage here is sewing.
This looks familiar.
Yep, there you go.
This looks like what we have. This is what I'm used to in a gear
most
gear
people
shop.
recognize in a gear shop. It's funny, the boats, they only have one stage of sewing. We actually sew all of the individual panels together. And we can do that because the fabric's lightweight. It makes the seam a lot stronger. But the big factories, you can't sew those seams together. So they're actually seam taping them together without a stitched seam.
Okay.
But we actually stick the seam together. So from our sorting thing, this is how they're going to arrive over into sewing. So that way when the sewer pulls off this tape, it's going to lay out and all the individual panels are going to sew together.
Is it laid out in the steps that they'll sew it and stuff?
Pretty much,
nice.
yeah.
Excellent.
So here's what it looks like after they've been sewn. They go into these rolling bins.
Okay.
But this is a complete boat now.
Oh, right
and
on.
all the seams are sewn together and it's starting to take shape. So, seam taping. Seam tape welding is hot air welding. So unlike our radio frequency welding where we use dyes and radio waves to excite the polarity and weld, it's hot air being injected into a tape that's got that polyurethane coating on it.
So it's just heating up that adhesive basically?
It's just bonding it,
Bonding it. Okay, so this guy's got a super meticulous job.
Yes.
It doesn't look like there's anything that automatically lines that up.
No, there's not. Okay. You have to have the right amount of heat, the right amount of pressure, the right amount of speed combined with how close the nozzle is. There's all these different settings. But once he says go, it's going at a constant speed. So he's got to continually feed that seam right down the center of those two wheels, and he's doing that only with his hand.
That's cool.
There's a definite art of manufacturing, and it's highly skilled labor.
Super meticulous.
So, our boats are seam taped. They now hold air. They look like a boat. They just don't have a floor. So that's the next step in the process. And at this stage, we need to check and make sure that they hold air.
Yeah.
We sometimes do a final QC check just to make sure that all the pieces are there, but mostly we're focusing on whether they hold air. So all these boats have been inflated overnight, and you can see they're still holding air. They're a little, they lose a little bit of air. That's that's natural, normal, but they're holding.
That's just like passing through the fabric.
Or just little corners. The zippers aren't perfect. Nothing's perfect in the handmade boat industry, but we want to make sure that they will hold air for a full day of paddling.
Sure.
So this is the one stage in the process where we use glue. We use acetone-based glue. Where we put those glue lines does impact performance, impacts handling, and impacts, that's part of the features in terms of how the boat actually handles on the water.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bottom,
so they're
right?
not all,
Obviously.
It's not like they all just have a 4-inch line of glue.
Sure.
So we mark out where the floor is going to go. We've got the floors themselves. We will glue up both sides, and then it's an actual heat-activated glue.
Okay.
And we heat them down with a industrial strength heat gun.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Okay, so floors are glued on. We basically have a complete boat. We've got one more little step. It's already been done on this boat, but it's going to come out here. We're going to put another layer of tape just around the edge of the floor. Okay. This is, I won't say purely cosmetic, but it's mostly cosmetic. It does affect whether something catches the edges, but it's mostly cosmetic. Looks good, makes the boat last a lot longer.
Sure.
So it's an extra little step we do to make the boat kind of a professional finished product.
Yeah.
This boat is a boat now. You can go paddle it. It holds air. Everything's good. Some boats then will get a spray deck, and so that process happens in this room as well. And so we'll inflate the boat, hand fit the deck on, and then use the same seam taping machines that we taped the boat up, tape that deck on and fix it to it. If it gets a deck, it gets a deck on. If it doesn't get a deck, everything goes to shipping. The boat's done, it's ready to go.
And then all the bits and parts and pieces go with it
to
deliver it.
So we'll go look at shipping
and
talk about how that whole process goes. So we got our finished boat. We're gonna head into shipping. This is where we put everything together, get the package out door with the customer. Actually, this is perfect because we got a boat right here that's gonna go out today. This is a small Wolverine, and now we can actually see this tag.
Yeah.
Which tells us what the boat is. It's a small Wolverine. It's the 420 Arctic blue material. Nice. It's got a whitewater deck, and then the last says that it has this cargo fly zipper. The cargo fly is what allows you to store your gear inside the tubes. Right on this, we've got our packing list. It tells people in shipping everything that they need to get this boat ready. So gotcha. Every boat's going to get an inflation bag. That's how we blow them up. It's going to get a valve cap, it's going to get a repair kit, it's going to get those kinds of things. But this boat's going to get a back band, it's going to get thigh straps, it's going to get 2 seats, it's going to get a rim for the spray skirt.
Okay.
That whole thing. So all those things get packaged up, get put in a stuff sack.
What's your typical kind of like packed size?
So this is a fairly compact one, but this is what a typical boat will be full size. Wow. And you can get it smaller than this. This is in the stuff sack. The stuff sack is not designed to be carried on your backpack necessarily that way. Sure. You can roll them up in much tighter configurations to get them on.
Oh, wow. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all, actually.
No.
I figured it'd be way bigger, bulkier, and way heavier.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, that boat probably is a 6.5-pound boat that you can do most everything with.
That's really not bad. Cool. And then obviously you have the added size and weight of your paddles.
Exactly.
Like that.
We will take the rest of their order, and if they ordered something like a paddle or PFD or a book or small parts or t-shirts, whatever they ordered, throw that in the box, ship it out.
That's it.
That's it. That's the factory.
Oh yeah. Oh, a couple more little rapids coming up.
Almost went in.
Oh yeah, I definitely found a new outdoor addiction.